Samantha from Summer Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a watermelon themed ring from polymer clay. Now what you're going to need is some polymer clay to start off with, and I'm going to be using Primo Translucent and Primo Pearl White along with two colours of alcohol ink to colour. And these are the ink colours that I am using. Feel free to use whatever colours inks you want, but those are what I'm going to be using. I'm going to put the pearl white to the side for the moment, and I'm actually going to take this translucent and I'm going to split that in two. One for the green and one for the red. And I'm just going to open up those bottles of ink off to the side. You always want to do that because there can be dried ink around the caps and that can get onto your clay and cause speckles after it's been baked, so always do that. And then I am going to apply 2 drops of ink to each piece. And let's see, I might actually apply 3 now that I think about it, just to make sure that I have a nice strong colour. Alright, then close that ink back up again, because spills do happen, and put those off to the side, and this needs to dry before you move on to the next step. Alright, and once they've finished drying, generally I will brush them out a bit so that they dry quicker, but once they're done, then you're going to take that and you're just going to fold it up like so. And you're going to run it through your pasta machine a couple of times, though I would recommend hand mixing it for the first couple of folds, just to introduce that ink to the clay and make sure that it's not going to run all over your pasta machine. So definitely try hand mixing to start with until you stop seeing the ink leaking out of the clay. Then you can mix it through, and I'll do that for the red as well, and that's going to create the 2 colours that we want. And there we go, that's how they should look out of the pasta machine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those and I'm going to bring over the pearl white from before, and I'm going to take a little bit of that pearl white and I'm going to put that to the side because I do want just some regular pure pearl white. And then I'm going to take some more and I'm going to add it to each of these colours. Now I'm going to work with one colour at a time, but what I do with the one, you would do with the other one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop this up like so. Okay, and just mix that up so that everything is kind of mixed together. And then we're going to make a marble from it. Right. And take that, and I'm just doing that so that everything doesn't have as sharp corners, and also so that it mixes it around a little. Then compact that together into one piece of clay. Again, do that with the red one as well. And just take that, pick everything up together, and then we're going to make a marble. And to do that, you roll that up, and then I'm just going to cut that into slices, and press that together. It doesn't need to be neat or anything like that, just press them together, and then you can use your roller. Let me move that out of the way. Use your roller to roll that out, and you could use your pasta machine as well, but just roll that out like so, and then pick the side that you like the best and fold the side that you don't like up like so, and then roll again. And then I will probably do that one last time, again picking the side that you like the best. I like the other side, so fold it like that, and on the final roll just square everything up so that it leaves you with a little less of an untidy piece and gives you more of a rectangle to work with. And then you're going to roll that out, and on this one I am going to roll it out through the pasta machine so that it is a nice even thickness. Alright, and there we go. We've got the red one and the green one, and I've also got the pearl white. They've all been run out in the same setting of the pasta machine, so they're all the same thickness. I'm then going to grab a rectangle cutter, nice long one, and a Kemper cutter. You can use any circular metal cutter or metal shape, just something that can go into the oven. That's the important bit, and I know that this goes the whole way around. So just have those ready to go. Then I am going to take, let's start with the green, and I'm just going to make sure it goes across, yes. And I am just going to cut that so that I have a nice straight line. Going to take the pearl white and I'm going to cut that as well. Then bring that up to meet the green, like that, and then just cut a nice thin strip of that, and I'll put that to the side, and then I'll do the same with the red, just trimming that up to get a nice straight line. Choose which side you like the best. I think I like this side more, and I'll place that down and then make sure that that's going to fit across correctly. I think the pearl white line is a little too thick for my liking, so I'm going to just take it down a little more. I just want a tiny little line. Alright, and then I put the red there. Okay, and that should fit. All good. Then you're going to grab a piece of paper and you're going to lay that over the top, and you're going to burnish with the lines. Don't burnish against the grain, you want to go with the grain. That way it keeps that little pearl white strip nice and straight. And this is just to kind of get everything to stick together. It should stick together quite well after it's been baked. But for now we want everything to stick together when we go to form it into the ring shape. Alright, and that should be pretty much it. Lift that up, run your finger along, because you should be able to tell if there's any bumps. If there are, continue burnishing, but that's pretty much all good. Then you are going to take your cutter and try to get this as straight and even as possible. And cut down. And make sure you get a nice clean cut. And lift up. And then I am just going to use this to trim up the edges here. This is the part that would be the leftover clay. And then this clay that is left on the edges, you can now use that to create more rings, or if you wanted to, you could create earrings and pendants. Completely up to you. This part over here is the scrap clay, so I'm going to put that to the side. Then the last step before we do anything with that is going to be to bring over some black acrylic paint and just pop a couple watermelon seeds in. And you could do this with liquid clay, though the liquid clay does make it a little difficult because it doesn't dry. It needs to be baked to dry, so I prefer using the paint. And I'm just going to use a ball tool to just dot in those seeds and try to be random with them, because yeah, some I'm going to press down a little harder, some I'm just going to lightly tap, and yeah, just pop in however many seeds you want. And remember, you can skip the step if you would prefer. And then you're going to let that paint dry completely before moving on to the next step, which will be to wrap this around that ring blank. And I'm just going in and making those seeds a little bit bigger. There we go. Alright, and there we go. That's how it should look once it's dried. I must say, it's quite cute. And then you're just going to lift that straight up from the tile, like so, and then just run your fingers around the edges. You might need to get rid of a little bit of fluff from around the edges, but yeah, that is how it should look. And you can see that would make quite a cute earring as well. I think I might end up showing you guys how to make an earring, but for now, for the ring, you're just going to pop that down onto the template that you've got. And then you're just going to wrap that around like so. And my cutter, I believe, is a little bigger than the ring template. It should match up. It's just a tiny bit too big. So I'll just line that up and then just kind of gently coax it into place and smooth. And I'm okay with that seam being there because I want this ring to be open so that it can actually move around as needed. I just want it to naturally sit closed if possible. Alright, and there is going to be some sanding later on. This is not it in its finished form. This is just going to be how I bake it. But that really looks quite cute. I'm very happy with how that looks. You would just pop that into your oven for about half an hour at Primo's recommended temperature, and then you can pretty much finish it off. I'll show you how to do that in a bit, but for now I'm actually going to show you how to create a pair of earrings. Okay, and for the earrings, all I've done is the same thing that you would do with the ring, except I'm going to use a different cutter to cut that out, and that is one of these little earring cutters to create twirl earrings. So you can use any cutter you want, of course, but that's what I'm going to be going with. Alright, and all you would do is you would do the same thing that you had before, but you're just going to grab this, make sure to line it up, and just bear with me for one moment. I'm trying not to get my head under the camera there, but I want to make sure that I get a equal amount of red and green, and then cut. There we go. Lift up, peel that away, and again you can kind of trim that up and use it some more if you want to. When it comes to this, because I applied the paint after or before trimming it out, I actually do need to just tap along the sides to clean up that acrylic paint, because acrylic paint does not cut with the cutter, so you need to clean that up. Then just lift it up in one nice clean sweep and just tap along the edges to smooth anything out. And then I've got this little metal tool. It's basically a metal straw, so you can use that to create your pieces, but all you're going to do is you're just going to pop the clay down onto the piece like so, and then just wrap it around gently until you're happy with it. And that one I'm not quite happy with the spiral. I want the spiral to be a little longer so you can pick it up and move it around until you're happy with the appearance. And I'm just comparing that to the other one that I have, and I think that's all good. Alright, then I'm just going to take a little bit of extra clay, and I'm going to just take that, and this I would put into the oven. Just place down 2 pieces of clay like so, and pop that down so that it rests and keeps these up off of the tile. And then those earrings plus the ring that I've made are going to go into the oven for about half an hour at Primo's recommended temperature. Then when they're done, they're probably going to get a little bit of a sand. Don't sand the top part where the paint is, because you'll remove the paint. You're only going to sand the edges if we do end up sanding, and then we're going to varnish and finish. Okay, and this is what it looks like once it's out of the oven. And so you can see that the colour difference is not all that much. The colour has just intensified a little bit in the areas where it's more translucent, but overall the colour is quite stable. Also, you can see that this is still flexible, but it's relatively firm. And that is so that it's easy to slip on and it will adjust to the size of your finger. I especially like this because my knuckles are generally larger than the soft part of my finger, and so I have a lot of trouble wearing rings that are one solid ring. They're just very uncomfortable to wear. So this is a nice option if you have that problem. If you would like a solid ring, you could at this point pop those two together like so with a little bit of liquid clay and bake it again so that it is one solid ring. But yeah, these also have come out quite nicely. Quite happy with those. And for those, I am going to drill them before I move on to the varnishing step. And all I'm going to do is just take this little pin drill and drill a hole right at the top of these pieces. And that should take like a couple of seconds, nothing too difficult. Also, I do want to seal these because of the paint, though it isn't completely necessary because acrylic paint is quite sturdy if it is baked onto the polymer clay. So if you want to skip the varnishing, you absolutely can. I'm doing it mainly because I want to bring up the shine on these and bring out that pearlescent effect. Alright, and the varnish that I'm going to be using is this Varathane water-based gloss varnish. I've gotten it at Bunnings hardware store. That might be different from where you are, but basically a hardware store is where I got it. You mainly want to look for water-based varnishes. Then I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to use that to suspend these pieces. I'm going to show this on camera quickly. I wouldn't necessarily recommend stringing these right over the varnish because you can end up dropping them in, but I'm going to just do that so that I can show you. Okay, and I'm just going to string them down the length, separate them out a bit, and then you're just going to submerge those and bring them out slowly so that that varnish continues to drip down, and then I will suspend it over the top of the varnish can, and I will leave those there for about 2 minutes just to let the excess varnish drip off. And I'm going to do a very similar thing with the ring, and because it's open I am going to actually dip it using tweezers like so, and then I'll use that gap to kind of suspend it onto the wire. There we go. And actually I might just take that off and just get that excess varnish off because I don't want it to pull. You have a little bit of working time with the varnish, so you can move it around. There we go. Then as those dry, you're going to find that the varnish will start to pull around the lowest point. So I would advise then grabbing something like a baby wipe and just going in and dabbing the bottoms of the pieces to soak up those drops so that they don't form into blemishes later once the varnish is completely dried. When it comes to the ring, you might also need to take that baby wipe and actually pop it inside of the ring like so, so that you soak up that pull. Also don't forget to do that along the edge of the ring as well. If anything, you might actually want to take something and just separate it so that it doesn't end up sticking. If it does end up sticking, it's not the end of the world. You can always break that apart once it's dried. But I would do this for about 5 minutes. By then the varnish will have dried enough that it isn't necessary anymore. Then I'll leave that for a further 15 minutes to let them dry completely, and then we can assemble the earrings and they'll be done. Alright, and here is how those look once they've finished drying. And I did only do one coat. I feel like it's plenty shine enough without another coat, and there's a close-up look for you. Really quite like how that looks. Here's the ring that turned out quite well as well. It's got a nice sheen to it. Also, this is still quite separate, so nothing to worry about over there. And yeah, we're now ready to assemble. This is good to go. It's all finished. But for the earrings, I have selected a teeny little glass crystal, just with a very light green tinge, a head pin, a silver jump ring, and a ear wire. And what we're going to do is you're going to take the head pin and you're going to apply the bead and just have it hanging out on the bottom over there. Then you're going to grab your round nose pliers and you are going to create the smallest loop that you can, trying to make that so that you can see it. It's so tiny. There we go. Hopefully you can see there what I am doing. And I'm just going to make that so it's got a right angle. Then you're going to tilt that to bring the bead to sit right down near the bottom. Then you're going to cut off a length of wire, and this generally is, you'll get a feel for it after a while, but you want to cut that, hold both pieces so that nothing goes flying off. Then you're going to grab those pliers again, and you're going to create another little loop, like so. Then I'm just going to make sure that both of those loops are lined up so that they're both sitting together, like so. And let me just move those out of the way. Alright, and then to assemble, you're going to grab your jump ring. Now I'm just going to bring over another pair of pliers because that will make this easier. Open up that jump ring, thread that through the hole that already was made, and just bear with me, I'm using as small a jump ring as I can, so it can be a little fiddly to kind of get it in the piece to begin with, but it should go in. Just bear with me for one moment. There we go. Then once that's in, you're going to grab that, apply it, close that loop, grab your ear wire, and you're going to open up that loop on the base and just attach it to your piece and then close that up. But yeah, there we go. That is the earring, and I have already finished the other earring as well. They both look quite cute, and then you have just the regular ring ready to go. But yeah, that is just about it. I do hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. I believe this is the second time I have shown how to create a ring on the channel, so it's not something that I show very often. So if you enjoyed it, let me know, and if you'd like to see more rings specifically, also let me know, and I'll be happy to make some more of those in the future. Also, if you would like to support the channel so I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There is a join button just below this video where you can become a member of the channel. There's also a link to my Patreon account in the description below, where I post exclusive videos that aren't available on YouTube, and it is greatly appreciated. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store, Jessima Design. There will be a link in the description below where I sell things such as the cutters that I used in today's video. But yeah, that is just about it. If you have questions, remember to leave them below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.